Yes, my Pruveeo J30 dash cam came in today, and I'll let you guys see me install it on my car. It shouldn't be too hard to do. You open the box up, there's even other than a little cover, that's the camera itself. The bottom round part is the inward facing camera. And it has a bunch of straps on the back side where you can bind it to your mirror. This is what the back of the camera looks like. Those are the straps that go around your mirror, and that's the forward facing camera. This is what comes in the box. The kit comes with a power supply, the wiring to the camera, double-sided tape that you can stick it in place, and some tiny screws where you can secure it down once you put it in place. There are also some wire double-sided tape you can stick stuff along the way. Today I'm going to show you how I installed the Pruveeo J30 triple dash cam. It has the interior facing camera here, as well as the forward facing camera. Then we also have the rear view camera. We'll get into that later. First off, these elastic straps, you take them, pull, say, the bottom off. You install them around the mirror. You want this forward facing camera to be beyond the mirror, so I'm going to face them equidistant on the camera, and then pull them tight. Same thing on this side. There, it's on. It's just that simple. The camera's not on. Now what we're gonna do is, before you run wires through the ceiling and things like that, you need to make sure this thing works. So the next step would be powering the camera. And as this camera does not come with an SD drive, we'll have to format the drive as soon as we get it started. So I went ahead and inserted the drive up there. Got to show you the connections on that on that mirror. The connections on the top is the micro SD, the rear camera input, the SD card, and this is one for GPS, which this camera does not come with. So those are your connections: micro SD, the input camera to the camera, the micro SD card, and the GPS. So I'm going to put this back on the mirror. Make those as tight as you can make them. Make sure your camera has this full view. So I'll move that over a little bit. As you see, it does not obscure your vision, not much more than the regular camera does. It's a lot wider, and that makes it good. Then you can turn this camera around to face the interior, as it's designed to do, and later on we'll make adjustments to how we want that to go. And now for the power. The power has, of course, been unwrapped. I have an auxiliary, a multi-port adapter in my plug down here. It sits right down here. I have something already connected to it. I'm going to connect this to that power, and that will power up and return the camera. So once we get that powered up, we will also test the rear view camera here to make sure everything's working properly. Hope there's not too much glare on you guys from that rear light. I turned the rear light off just in case there was too much glare. I found out later when I watched the recording. So here we go. We're going to run the power temporarily and just plug it in to the micro SD slot. There. We got it plugged in. Let's make an adjustment for normal settings. And right now you can still see out this. It has a film across it, but I can still see pretty clear. I had one before my other cameras, and that thing was very not so good when it comes to using it as a regular backup camera. But now you'll be able to see that you can use that as a regular backup camera. And let's power this up. There it goes. Booting up with Pruveeo. And there's my interior camera working. Please format card. Say OK. Say format's complete. So that's good. Now we can go through the menu. When you turn it on, it automatically starts record. And I don't have the rear camera plugged in yet. So let's give that a try, the rear camera, and see how that works. I should be able to swipe for the forward camera. See, that's the forward camera right there. Swipe over, and that's the front camera by itself now. Guess I need to slide this over a little bit further to avoid obstructions from the mirror. I don't know what that is blocking it right now, but we'll figure that out later. So that's a good view. I didn't think this was going to be that close up on the interior, but that's a good, nice close up. And that's why I want, in case I ever have to deal with someone on the side, this camera will pick up who's standing outside my door, as well as what's going on with the passengers. So let's give a try of plugging in this rear camera. And push come to shove, I may have to stop the video so I can run these wires, and I'll show you where I ran them. And I might consider plugging in the red wire if you want to use backup assistance. It's not something you necessarily need, but it's convenient to have. So you shouldn't have to power this rear view camera with the red wire unless you want to use the backup assistance. But in the absence of that, once you plug this in at the top, it should power the rear camera. There, the rear camera is plugged in. And look, it works. So from the mirror, you can easily swipe left or right for the next camera. That's the inward facing camera, which I'll make a few adjustments later on. I have to get the mirror the way I want it. Or you can have all three cameras going at the same time. That's the front, the inside camera, and the exterior one. So that's good. It works really well. The formatting was really simple. And I'm going to more than likely, since I have a hard top now, run the wires through the upper part and maybe attach the camera inside the car instead of outside like I had to do with my convertible. It's very good. So that was fairly simple. Now, to do other things to it, you just hit the settings button. Please stop recording first. So you hit that button, the recording is off. Now you can go through your settings. Resolution, you have that 1080p, all cameras. Loop recording, I'm going to change that to 1 minute 2 minutes. See if it's kept. Screensaver, I'm gonna put that off because we use that as the active camera. Date stamp on. So it's all set up. That's as simple as that, y'all. So I'll get back to the wiring part when I get that all done. I don't want to bore you with the individual things other than to let you know that because of where my plug is located, I'm going to run these wires up through this ceiling, probably down through that panel and down and through the passenger compartment and up to here. The wires for the remote, the backup camera, chances are I'm going to run them through this side, straight to the back, and run out to the back. I'll show you exactly where I'm going to run those. I'm going to run the wires all the way through the furnace and come up this way, out the back way. I think I mentioned it before that this kit comes with a sticky placement pad so you can place it in order, and then some self-tapping screws you can set into the wherever you plan on installing it. So in this case, I'm going to install this camera inside the cabin, out at the window like such. Therefore, I don't have to worry about it being outside too much. Might be easier to run it before I have to do a lot of wiring to get it through the door. I think in this case, I'm going to try this. I can always try a different location if it doesn't work out for me. So this is where I'm going to put it. So we're going to stick this to the back side of here. It leaves a gap for the hole you need to drill. But that's how we're going to work this. Attach it to there. Then I can get the holes drilled in and put the screws in afterwards. Yeah, so that'll work. So I'm peeling the backing off. The dark side I'm attaching to the metal bracket, like such. And then I'm going to peel off the other side of the double tape, the red side. There, I wasn't too hard. Don't forget to peel off the plastic covering the lens. I want to put it directly in the center of these grid lines up here. I'm going to adjust it to where I can move the full adjustment of the camera. So I'm going to put it here like that, and see that I can have motion in the camera. So I can press hard down like that. One advantage is I think I'll be able to take this cover off while the camera's still attached and don't affect anything. I might run my wires up through there to make it easier to come out to the bottom. Let me see how that will work. The hatch closing. Okay, that should work. That's where I'm going to attach it. Now I'm going to take the smallest drill bit I have and put starter holes for the screws. All I got to do now is put this back in place where it was. Put it back in place. Hopefully it'll stay there long enough for you to get your screws in. I would never trust just sticky to hold something like this on, especially with heat and things like that. Then you take these very small screws too that were included in the kit. Use a very small screwdriver to put those in. Be careful not to strip such tiny screws. And you don't have to over tighten these because it is going into the plastic. But it's on there firm. You have to set your angle and then tighten up these screws on the side, depending on what you want to see out the back. I want to see the rear of the vehicle as well, a little bit close to the bottom, so I had to make an adjustment. If you look up front, you can see what I'm looking at, so I can always come back later and make it better if I wanted to. I got these in, got all this stuff behind here. I'm going to get these wires behind this panel, as well as determine if I'm going to hook up the red wire for the backup camera. Y'all pardon me, I've got to get used to using this headband on my camera. So I was telling people before, if you're going to have a German-made car, you need to have some Torx tools. There's a screw in this panel, right in this groove here. There's another for the black part down here. I'll check that out later, see what we need. But for now, I'm just going to secure these wires, and I may go further later on if I do the backup. Take this screw out here, one of these screws like such, with the Torx tool, and then pull back on this thing until it pops out. So I'm going to take the wire that came through this way, put it all inside this panel. You won't see them again until I try to work out the backup camera angle, and I'll see how much I need then. So all your extra wiring, I'm going to pull this one to the side for now. All your extra wiring that you don't need to use can go be secured and hidden in here. And it'll all be back here. It's just excess wires for this small car. They gave plenty of wire to run that backup camera. So we're just putting it all out of the way in between the installation. We don't need anything rattling back here. I don't know about you, so I don't like rattle. All I got to do is pull these clips here back into this groove panel here. Make sure it's not blocked. So nothing's in the way. And now all I got to do is push this back down and put the screw back in there. Here's the clean install I was telling y'all about. I had some difficulties remembering how I used to do this thing, so I did not hook up the red wire for now. I'll do that at a later date. Well, as you can see, you can't see any of the wires anywhere else. So I'm going to give you a sample as to how it looks on the road. My GoPro camera's died on me, so I want you to see exactly how I was doing this. Just patiently plugging it in with a trim tool or a screwdriver, and just keep on going till you get to that. Then all you gotta do is lift this piece up here like such and run the wire all the way to the back. This is what the freshly installed camera looked like with the power off. This is what the camera looks like with the power on. You can see the camera version of the image primarily, but then you get a background image of the regular mirror without power. So you get like two images at the same time. Now this is how the camera looking now. And as you can see, it's pretty clean up here, the wires. I ran the wires up through the headers, down that way, down behind the C-pillar, A-pillar. There's another feature of this camera that I didn't get a chance to see. Just as I was about to adjust the angle of this thing, I realized that you can go up here and there and move this. I saw someone else doing this online. You look at the camera, I can angle this down, and I can see the stuff that's below me. And like I said, that's way beyond what I can see through my rear view mirror, or the side view mirror for that matter. And now I can go back to what would be the normal view. And then I can look up higher too if I need to. That is higher. But this would be about the normal view. And this you can look up higher. So you can actually adjust how you want to see this digitally in the camera. Same thing applies to the front camera. I can go up and down with it. So that's good. I like that. So I think that's a good install, y'all. I need to clean my car. It's dirty. But other than that, this looks good. I'll try to give you a view of the nighttime as well. One last thing I want to show is when you power this camera off, simple press of the button, and now it does serve well as a backup camera. But like I say, you're looking between the seats at the back. The other one gives you a much better view. So I'm glad I installed this, and I think it's going to work fine for me. This is what the mirror dash cam looks like at night. Okay, as promised, I'm going to show you all how this thing works at nighttime. Let's see how here it goes. Just booting up. Showing the rear view, which is good. Now that I see this, looks kind of grainy. I think those limitations may be the infrared shooting through the light, through the window. So I may reconsider repositioning that rear view camera to the outside. Therefore, won't be anything between that. Even though this is convenient to have it inside, you don't have to worry about the weather affecting it and things like that. But there's some limitations to this. Okay, y'all. This is going to be my first inaugural test of not only my camera, but using my headband camera and my interior camera, in which I plan on doing more recording with. Let's see how it all goes. Okay, it's ready. Pruveeo just booted up. That's the rear view camera. Let's see how it works. It's pretty clear. Let's see how it works as far as being able to tell how close I am to stuff. I can actually see through the camera, regular cam, basically. So, see if I can see if it tells me how close I am. I might have to angle it down a little bit. I still can't tell how close I am, but I can see very well behind me. Okay, let's see how this works. Okay, folks, we're out on our first ride, and it's nice and quiet. You hear a little bit of the engine whine from the electric. Otherwise, you see my view up there. I don't know which one's more prevalent. I hadn't checked the brightness on this thing yet. But either way, I can see out the rear view mirror. Right now, I don't know which view is clearer. The translucent one from the regular mirror or the one from the camera. It's hard for me to tell which one I'm looking at, but I can see out the back very well that way. Camera looks pretty stable. I have to adjust the brightness, I do believe. And I'll show you what it looks like when you use the multiple cameras. That's the one on me, and I don't need to watch myself all the time, so that won't be used very often. It's one of all views. And of course, I don't know how it records into 3 channels. It's all on one part of the thing, the individual recordings. But I guess I'll find out later how that works. I might be able to include some of the actual footage to you guys. There you go. This is the one I need to see. rear camera. It's kind of odd because, like I said, 1 minute you're looking through the regular mirror, and you're looking through the camera as well. I don't know if you're able to see that on this camera or not. Hope you got a good view. These are the actual images I pulled from the SD card on my dash cam. You can see pretty well on all of them. I must admit, my only big problem was pulling that SD card out of the camera when it was in place. You practically have to take one side down to get it out. I know people looking at me strange because they see this guy with this camera on his head. I'll get used to this thing and find better places to put the camera in the car. So I'm looking at some options now. I'll figure it all out. I'm getting some ideas as we speak. I need to slow down a little bit. But no, this one does not have GPS. That was another one that was about $100 more that had a GPS. And if I had my old gasoline Smart, it would have been worth it because I travel further with it. But since I'm here local and it's mainly to do some local commutes, I don't think I need a GPS to tell how fast I was going and things like that. Rarely would that ever be an issue for me. That's why I chose this one. I'm looking forward to seeing this thing at night. It seems like some of the, it's not glare per se, but it's kind of overwhelmed with the light to the point of it's hard for me to tell if I'm looking through. Right now I can see both the view through the rear window because I can see the seats in it. I'm sure you can see that, as well as I can see the view from the camera, which is everything on the outside. It's kind of odd way, but like I said, I think it's mainly like that because of the reflection of the daytime. I'll check into settings later. But either way, I can see. That's the benefit of it. I can see everything I need to see. And I'm almost getting double the vision. But as long as I can see what's behind me, that's good. Y'all can see this little car get up and go. There's no power monster, but it can get out of its way. That's what I like about this electric Smart. Got plenty of torque. The range is decent enough for what I'd used it for. I could have got a faster one that would cost other brand of electric car that would have cost me more money. But I wouldn't have the same pizzazz as the Smart cars offer. Yes, it's functional, but I like the car because of the design, its functionality, and God knows I love the U-turn ability on this thing. And I sometimes impress myself with how this thing can turn around. I've done it in Walmart parking lot. Well, on one side of the road, saw a parking space opening behind me, and was able to do a U-turn. You should have seen the looks on people's faces when I did that U-turn right there in the lane without effort. And so people stopped and said, "Wow." I said, "Yeah, I don't do that to try to impress anyone, but by golly, it is impressive, and I like it." Well, y'all, I hope this demo was helpful. I'm getting ready to get out here to the store and go pick up some things my wife asked me to go pick up. But decided to do my inaugural test of the new function of the cameras, as well as the backup camera. And here's the other advantage: you can make these little tight turns in a Smart car. I like that very much. What I don't like, folks, sometimes you park in the middle of these spots, people see you have a small car, they have a tendency to park across the line, but they don't understand that even though the Smart is a small car, it has long doors. So I need just as much room, if not more, than they do to be able to get out of my car. So I really don't like being able to have to do that. So long for now. You'll see me again soon. Take care. Be smart.